Hello everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this baby blanket here. I absolutely love the color of the yarn. I love the yarn. It was super cool looking yarn. I can't really spread it out much because it's kind of I don't have a lot of room up here. And then the edging is very simple double crochet with a single crochet edge also. So it's actually not very hard to do. You do need to know how to single, double, chain, slip stitch, and front post double crochet in order to be able to make this. And it's approximately 32 inches by 26 inches. Not an extremely huge blanket, but big enough for baby. But I will tell you the multiples, so you can go out, you can make it bigger or smaller if you want. Here's what the back side looks like. The back actually looks kind of cool too, if you ask me. So there's the back and the front. So let's go ahead and get started on this. All right, for this project, I am using Karatopu. I'm probably not going to say it right. Beneckley baby. It's probably not right. I know actually it's not right, but this comes from Hobium, and it's a 100% acrylic medium weight number 4 yarn. There's 328 yards per ball, and I went through not quite 3 of them, so we're probably gonna need about 950 yards probably to complete this, unless you want to make it bigger. Then you'll need more. But this is it's super nice. The color is called, it doesn't have a color name, it's color numbers H512. Like I said, it comes from Hobium. You don't have to use this yarn. Any type of 4-weight yarn will work. It does not have to be this one. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Oh, and as always, I just want to take 1 second to ask you not to forget to subscribe to my channel. And when you subscribe, if you click on that little bell there right by the subscribe button, you will automatically be notified when I put on a new video. So whether I put on a new tutorial or some type of yarn related material, you'll always be notified of that, any giveaways that I do. And also don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy. You don't have to, but if you like it, I really appreciate it. And a share if you can. So okay, this stitch is called the brick stitch, and it's done in a multiple of 3 plus 2, in case you want to make your baby blanket bigger or smaller, or maybe use this stitch for something else. Now, if you want to follow along with me, I started out with a chain of 101 stitches. All right, I'm going to show you on a smaller scale because I already have my big piece done. But once you get your chain of 101 stitches, we're going to go ahead and do a single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. Just like that. And now we will start the repeat of the row by chaining 2, skipping 2, so skip, skip, and then you single crochet into the next, just like that. And that's what we keep repeating. We're going to chain 2, skip 2, skip, skip, and single into the next. Again, chain 2, skip 2, skip, skip, single into the next. Chain 2, skip 2, skip, skip, and single into the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern of chain 2, skip 2, single, chain 2, skip 2, single, all the way until I get to the end of the row. Okay, I'm coming to the end here, and you should have enough to finish out a complete repeat. So I just single crocheted. I have 3 stitches left, so I'm going to do my chain 2, skip 2, and go ahead and single crochet into the last stitch. Okay, you should have a total now of 33 of these chain 2 spaces total. So for row 2, we are going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and turn our work. What we're going to do is put 2 double crochets right through the chain 2 space. Now, row 2 and 3 are the repeat rows for the whole pattern. So we're on row 2 now. We chain 3, and now we're going to put 2 double crochets into this chain space. Just right through it. And now we're going to do a front post double crochet around the next stitch. It's around this single crochet here. So just go right through there and do a front post double crochet. And now we are going to change or put 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. So that's kind of the repeat. Real easy. We're going to front post double crochet around the next single crochet. And then we're going to work 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. Front post double crochet around the next single crochet, and 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. And we just repeat that pattern until we get to the end of row 2. Front post double crochet around the next single crochet, and then 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. And I'm just going to keep repeating this until I get to the end of the row. And that's what it kind of starts to look like. You'll be able to see the post stitches more once you get more post stitches on there. But go ahead and repeat that pattern until you get to the end of the row. Okay, when you make it to the end, I just did 2 double crochets into my last chain 2 space. I'm going to end the row by putting a double crochet into the last stitch here, just like that. And you should have a total now of 100 stitches altogether at the end of row 2. Row 3, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to single crochet right here into this very first stitch, and then we're going to chain 2, skip 2, and single into the next. Chain 2, skip 2, and single into the next. Chain 2, skip 2, single into the next. So that's the repeat now for row 3. Chain 2, skip 2, single into the next. Chain 2, skip 2, and then single. And you want to repeat that pattern until you get to the end of the row. Okay, when you make it to the end here, doing my last chain 2, skipping 2, and I'm going to end by single crocheting into the top of this last stitch here. which is actually a chain 3, just like that. So now you should have, again, 33 of these chain 2 spaces. So now it's a repeat of rows 2 and 3. It's real easy. So for row 4, we're just going to repeat row 2 by chaining 3, putting 2 double crochets into this chain 2 space, front post double crochet around the single crochet, two double crochets into the chain 2 space, and front post double crochet around the next single. So we're just, for row 4, we're just repeating what we did on row 2. 2 doubles into the chain 2 space, and front post double around the next single. So that's it. Super easy. You just keep repeating rows 2 and 3. Once you get more rows though, it'll start to look like this. You'll be able to see the post a little bit more clear. So you want to keep repeating rows 2 and 3 for a total of 68 rows. If you want it bigger, by all means you can make it as big as you want, but just keep in mind you probably will need more yarn if you decide to make it bigger than mine. So go ahead and keep repeating rows 2 and 3 until you get a total of 68 rows. Okay, now once you finish your 68 rows, you can always do more if you want to. But now what I'm going to do is go around and we're going to put a border on it. But first we're going to edge it. So don't tie off. The front of your work will be here where the post stitches are. This will be the front. And you should have ended where you're on the front of your work. So what I'm going to do now is, here's where I left off. I'm going to chain 1. Now right here in between these 2 last stitches, I'm going to go right into them and I'm going to work 2 single crochets right in this space between the last double crochet and the second to the last double crochet. Just 2 single crochets. And then I'm going to put one single crochet right here in this single crochet of the next row on the end. And then I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to put 2 single crochets in this space between these last 2 double crochets of this row. So right in that space there, 2 singles, and then 1 right here, which is the single crochet at the end of the row. Go right into that spot and put 1 single crochet. And again, I'm going to jump over here to this right in between these last 2 double crochets. I'm just going to go right in the space and work 2 single crochets. And then 1 single crochet right here into this next single crochet here on the side here. And that's what I'm going to do all the way down. And I'm just going to kind of clean up the edges a little bit. So jump over here in between these next 2 single crochets or next 2 double crochets, I'm sorry. Put 2 single crochets right in the space. And then I'm going to put 1 single crochet right here in this single crochet here at the end of the row. I'm going to do this all the way down my whole piece until I get to the end down there, and then we'll work around the corner. And this is kind of just cleaning up these edges and kind of making it look a little bit more I just clean, I guess. Cleaning up the edges to make it look clean. So I'm going to continue working in the same manner that I have been all the way down this long side here until I get down here to this corner, and I will meet you down here at this corner, and then we'll work around the corner and we'll continue. But I'll meet you right here, and I'll show you what to do at the corner. All right, I've made it all the way down here to my first corner, and I put a single crochet right there into that single crochet, last single crochet here. So here was 2 single crochets where the stubble is, and then 1 single crochet in the next. Now the next stitch is actually the first stitch of the next row. So what I'm going to do into this stitch right here is I'm going to go into it, and I'm going to work 1 single crochet, chain 2, and I'm going to go back into the same stitch and work another single crochet. So that's how I'm going to round the corner. Now we're going to be working on the bottom. It's kind of the very first row that we did. And I'm going to put 2 single crochets through this chain 2 space. And then 1 single crochet right here into this, where the single crochet was. 2 single crochets into the chain 2 space. And 1 single crochet right here into where we put that single crochet. It was on the very first row we did. 2 single crochets into the space. And 1 right here where that single crochet was. And this is what I'm going to do all the way across the bottom until we get to the next corner. So I'm going to continue this, working the single crochets until we get over to the other corner, and I'll meet back up with you when we get over there. Just like that. So I'm going to work all across the bottom, and I'll see you when we get over here. Okay, I'm coming up to my next corner now. There's just one thing we need to do a little bit different here. You see this chain 2 space right here? Instead of putting 2 single crochets into this last chain 2 space, we're going to put 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now that's the only chain 2 space that we'll put 3 in. Now we're right here at the corner. This is kind of where we started. See this stitch here? We're going to go right into there. And we're going to do 1 single crochet, chain 2, and then another single crochet in the same spot. Just like that. And now we will continue working the same way we did on the other side. 2 single crochets right here in between this and next. These next 2 double crochets. And then 1 single crochet into the single crochet here on the end. 2 single crochets here right through this space. And then 1 single crochet right here in this single crochet here on the end. So we're doing the same thing we did on the other side. 2 single crochets in that next space here between those 2 doubles. And then 1 single crochet into this single crochet here on the end. And we're going to repeat this all the way until we get to our next corner. So repeat that pattern all the way up until we get right up here, and I'll meet you right up here. All right, I've made it up here to the next corner. I did a single crochet right there into that single crochet, and you see this chain space here. Go ahead and put 2 single crochets in it. And then this first stitch right here is going to be where we're going to put our corner. So we're going to go right into it, and we're going to put 1 single, chain 2, and then 1 more single, like that. And now we're just going to work across the top, finish out the top by putting 1 single crochet in every stitch along the top. You should be able to see where your stitches need to go pretty well. Until we get back to our starting point. So all the way across the top here until we make it right over here. All right, I've made it to my last stitch. Now the last stitch, I'm going to put 1 single, a chain 2, and another single into the same spot. Now I'm going to end by slip stitching into my first single crochet over here. Not the chain 1, but the first single. Now that was row 1 of the edging. Okay, now at the end of round 1, you should have a total of 406 stitches. Now that does not have to be exact. As long as it's somewhere around there, that's fine. So now we will start row 2, and it's pretty easy. We're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. And now we're going to work, and we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch until we get to our first corner, or our first chain 2 space. So it's just 1 double in every stitch, just like this. All the way down, and I'll meet up with you at this very first corner, this very first next chain 2 space right here. All right, I made it to my first chain 2 space right here. So this is what we're going to work in each of the chain 2 spaces. It's always going to be the same. We're going to go into it. We're going to work 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and then 2 more double crochets, just like that. Now we're going to continue working 1 double crochet in every stitch across. Now sometimes after you do the corner, the very first stitch gets hidden, so kind of pull your stitches back, because you got to make sure you get that first stitch, otherwise your count will be wrong. There we go. He hides sometimes. And now I'm going to continue putting 1 double crochet in every stitch until I get to my next corner, or my next chain 2 space is the corner. All right, I've made it to my next chain 2 space right here. Sometimes they're hard to see, but right there. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go into that chain 2 space, and I'm going to work 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and then I'm going to work 2 more doubles into the same space. And then I'm going to keep going, working my 1 double crochet in every stitch. Just like this. And this is what I'm going to repeat for the rest of the way around until we get back to the beginning. It's just 1 double crochet in every stitch, and then when you get to the next chain 2 space, the next corner, you do the same thing into it. You put 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 double crochets, and then you just continue putting 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get back to your starting point. So this is kind of cleaning up the corners a bit, I guess. Starting to get an edge on it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish that all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Alright, I'm coming to the end of round 2. I just did my 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles in that last corner, and now you got 1 stitch there left, 1 single crochet that you need to double crochet into. Like that. And then we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first, or our beginning chain 3. So now you should have 16 more stitches than you did the previous round. So we had 106 last time. So now we should have 122. Now again, it doesn't have to be exact. It's all right if it's not exact. As long as it's somewhere close on the border, the stitch count doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do now again for round 3 is I'm just going to repeat round 2. I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around. And when I get to my corners, I'm going to do my 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So we're just repeating the exact same thing we just did on the previous round. So 1 double every stitch, and then in every corner you put 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. So round 3 is what we're on, and we're just repeating round 2. Just like that. Alright, I've made it to the end of a row 3, and I ended with a slip stitch into my first or beginning chain 3, and now you should have a total of 438 stitches. Remember, that does not have to be exact, just somewhere in the vicinity of that number. Now if you want to do another row, you can, to make that border a little longer. I'm just going to do one more round, and it's just going to be a single crochet. So I'm going to chain 1, go back into that same spot in single crochet, and now I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get to my corner, or my first chain 2 space. This will be my finishing round. And this is round 4 of the edging. So 1 single in every stitch, and I'll meet you at the first chain 2 space. Okay, I've made it to my first chain 2 space. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put 4 single crochets through the chain space. Just like that, just 4 of them right through there, just like that. And then I will continue around, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get to my next chain 2 space. And then I will put 4 single crochets through that chain space and continue putting 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. So it's just 1 single crochet in every stitch, but when you get to the chain 2 spaces, you just put 4 single crochets through the chain 2 space. So I am going to continue that all the way around. 1 single crochet in every stitch, and then 4 single crochets in each of the 4 chain 2 spaces. Alright, once you are finished going around with single crochet, I just went ahead and slip stitched into my first single crochet, tied off, hid my tails. You should have a total of 454 stitches. And one more time, I want to stress that does not have to be exact, but that's it. I think it turned out pretty cute. I love the yarn. It's nice. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. That always helps me out, and to share if you can on some type of social media. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you look up in the left hand corner of the screen, you'll see a picture of my face. That will subscribe you, and then you can see all my videos. And if you look over on the left hand side right about now, I'll put a playlist of some other baby blankets that I made in case you're interested and you want to make another one. But that's it. Until next time, everybody, have a good day.